I'm going to do something a little bit differently tonight. You get to see the pretty yarns behind me. And Elizabeth was showing off her pretty set that she got. Have you cast that on already, Elizabeth?
No, I'm working on a couple other projects, but I chose the shawl I'm going to make with it. So I just have to ball it up. And as soon as I finish this hat and scarf, then I will.
Okay. I don't have the shawl with me, but I'll have to send you a picture. I did use that same set for an impressionist shawl by Helen Stewart. It ends up having a wingspan of almost 80 inches. And I still had yarn left over for a second shawl. Go with that one. That one's an awesome one.
I might have to change my mind.
There you go. I'll send you a picture of it. It turned out really pretty. So we got some gorgeous yarns here. All of these yarns are available on my website. But since I went a little bit over the time last time, going through every single one, I figured I'd just focus on some mini skeins and yarn sets tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna flip my camera around and I'm gonna show you some pretty yarn sets. Let's see here. Doing this on my phone versus the iPad. There we go. All right, so I have some gorgeous mini skein sets. Kind of do a little pan here. Got some wonderful yarn sets here in the back. All right, I'm going to start off with this one here, which is Shipwreck Coral. Here's the colors. Each skein of these are 92 yards, so you're getting 460 yards total for each mini skein package, and that goes for all of the mini skein packages. They're all the same. So this one has a really pretty kind of soft, almost a teal, really pale teal. Apologize for my dirty hands and my dirty nails. I was doing some indigo dyeing today, so had to kind of go fishing in the bucket for some deep pieces that were down there. So I'm a little blue, a little smurfy. And then we got a wonderful sage green, a nice tan, deep blue, and a deep purple for the Shipwreck Coral. That was inspired by Duluth Aquarium. They have a shipwreck aquarium that's really, really pretty. And next up, I have Sunflower Dream, or Field of Sunshine, based on sunflowers. Again, you're going to get 460 yards in this. It has a green, a brown, and then 3 different shades of yellow. Perfect for mimicking all those sunflowers that we see in the whole Midwest. This one is called Imagine Peace. And this one has a green, a blue, a tan, natural cream, and a gray. This photo here, my sticker's a little bit in the way, but it's hands holding a dove. And it was taken at the International Peace Gardens up across the North Dakota and Canadian border. So you could take a little travel and trip and go see that. That one's a lot of fun. And this one is called Hana no Fun. This is a Japanese word. It does mean ship of flowers. And this one was taken in northern Japan in Omori, which is up at the very top of Japan. And during their chrysanthemum festivals, they will fill wooden boats like this and take mannequins and create entire outfits covered in chrysanthemum blossoms. And then they fill the boats with them as well, and then anchor them into the moat. Really cool sight. So Hana no Fun has a pink, a yellow, a green, a brown, and a gray. So that's a really pretty, kind of almost a spring mini skein set. Each mini skein is 92 yards with 460 yards total. All right, I'm going to move on here. I started a little bit early for those who are joining. I will flip back around. I'm Stephanie with Alainn Yarns. If you're new to seeing me, all of my yarns are based off of my travels. I've gotten to travel the world a little bit, and I take photos along the way, and then I make each colorway actually match my photos. So tonight, instead of going through the entire wall of color that I have behind me, which all of those are available on my website, I'm going through some mini skein sets and some yarn sets tonight, just to make things a little bit more concise. So with that, we're going to now take a road trip to the Southwest. This photo here was taken in Oak Creek Canyon, just outside of Sedona, Arizona. And for this photo, I captured all those rich russet browns and red kind of tones. So we got kind of a reddish brown here on the end, two different shades of orange, softer kind of chestnut brown, and then a gray in the middle to kind of complement that. Each mini skein is 92 yards, and you're getting 460 yards total for the entire set. Next up here, I have Rise Up from the Mud. I just love the title. I came up from this one. This features a pink lotus blossom. And it also is going to have two shades of pink, a wonderful, nice cream, and then two shades of green. So we got a darker green and a lighter green. And with purchasing these, you get a wonderful little postcard that you could use for a future whatever. But then you actually get to see the photo too that inspired the kit. Next up, I have Kylemore Abbey. This is a gorgeous one. I am going to take this one out of the photo just because, out of the set, because the photo is amazing. You would think, maybe. All right, you would think that that is an actual, professional postcard. Nope, I took that photo. I just got really lucky. And there we go. So you can see all the wonderful shades of orange and kind of purple and green that the hillside, and then the wonderful gray tones of the actual Kylemore Abbey itself. So this set has chartreuse green, kind of a darker green, and then like a medium moss, and then two shades of gray. And then if you know the designer Shana Scott, she actually just designed a pair of socks with this pattern. I'm gonna iPad locked, here we go. She just released this pair of socks using one set of my Kylemore Abbey set. Isn't that cool? Those socks are called Traveler Socks by Shana Scott. She said that they are available on Ravelry and also too on her website, which is Yumi Yarns, I believe. And that uses one full set of a mini skein set. So any one of these mini skein sets that you see here would work perfectly for that Kylemore Abbey. Look at that. Isn't that fun? I love that lace pattern. Oh, so pretty. She just shared that with me, and so I needed to share that with all of you. All right, I'm going to move beyond the mini skein sets right now, and we're going to go into some full-size skein sets. First up here, I have a wonderful complimentary set. This is called Petals on Pavement. It is two skeins of my worn suitcase base, which is fingering weight superwash merino with 25% nylon. And this darker color here is my iron filigree, and this is lady slipper. And they just go so well together. That iron filigree really complements literally every color I do. So great option right there for those two. Perfect for any of those 2-color shawls. After that, I've got Dreamer Sky, which is also a 2-skein set. This has my celestial colorway, which is this blue here. I'm actually currently out of that right now, but you get the set, you can get the celestial. And then I've got this gorgeous platinum skein. These are on my Star Map base, which is the sparkle base. It is superwash merino, nylon, with a little bit of stellena, and each skein has 438 yards. So that is Dreamer Sky. You get a total of 876 yards for that. All right, if you still like sparkles, I have All That Glitters set. This was a set that I created for New Year's. I think I only have 1, maybe 2 sets left. And then it will disappear again until maybe New Year's. Maybe it'll come back. So you got a really pretty soft champagne yellow with a soft platinum. That would be really pretty together. Next up, I have the ever popular Pollen Babe set. So this has a wonderful deep red with little subtle streaks of black, and then a bright blue skein. These are on my Worn Suitcase Sport. Each skein is 328 yards. So you get 656 yards for the entire set. And that's Pollen Babe. And then we've got Glacier Bay. This is also a really pretty set. This is a 3-skein set. So you get the blue on sparkle. The middle skein is a watercolor style with a bright blue and kind of a teal. And then you get this nice gray to complement. Fantastic 3-skein set. Total yards, you're going to end up, let's see. So the gray and the watercolor colors are 462 yards, and then the sparkle is 438 yards. So you're getting good 1,200 yards out of that. You could easily make a, maybe a lightweight sweater, short sleeve sweater, something like that. Another 3-skein set that I have is Embrace the Storm. This is a really fun one too. I'm going to showcase here. This shawl is all 3 of those colors worked up. This is a design I did myself called Embrace the Storm. It starts out with this linen stitch in the green, and then you gradually bring the tan in to do a lace stitch. And then you're going to finish it off in chunks with kind of this darker gray storm color, even with beads down at the bottom. So fun. This one, if you are interested in this pattern, it is called Embrace the Storm. It is on my website as well as Ravelry. And that is using 1 full set of the Embrace the Storm. Pretty much using every single ounce of that yarn. So if you want a project that's really gonna use up the yarn and not leave you any leftovers, that's a really good one. And then a brand new set that I have is called Hard Dirt. This was an interesting one. It's one of those ones that kind of went rogue in the dye pot. It is actually 3 slightly separate shades of brown, but they would flow really well into each other. These are on my new DK weight base called Memento, which is 55% superwash BFL and 45% silk. And they are DK, and they're going to be just brown with little speckles of kind of this brighter orange and a little bit of black. So if you're needing a really good neutral, this is it. This is for you. So each skein is going to be 231 yards, and you're going to get 693 yards total. I have 2 sets of those if those are interested to you. And then that will be it, because they were kind of rogue dye pots. And then I have this wonderful 5 skein set if you're really needing to do something fun. If you're needing to do a full find your fade, this is a fun one. You would think that this temple photo was actually taken perhaps maybe on the other side of the world, but it was actually taken in southern Minnesota. This was a Cambodian Buddhist temple. And so the colorway is called Temple Peace. And you are going to get 5 skeins that are 462 yards a piece. That's a nice sage green, bright yellow, red, brown, and then kind of a soft tan. So you can definitely fade those together. And I only have 1 of those available if that interests someone. So with that, I am going to turn around here for some more viewing of pretty yarn. And then if you would like to see, if you have any questions, or if you would like to see a close-up of something, go ahead and unmute yourself and let me know. So each skein of yarn has a story to it. All of those stories are available on my website in the descriptions of the yarn. Because as we discovered last week, there are just too many. There we go. I even have a little bit of silk mohair in case you want to hold it double to a yarn. Let's see. So I can't see anything in the chat, but if anyone has any questions, go ahead and, like I said, unmute yourself and let me know.
So the name of your yarn shop means beautiful in Irish, although I have to admit, when I first saw the name, it never occurred to me that it was Irish. How did you come up with that name?
So I actually have some Irish and Scottish heritage. And so my very first colorway was actually based off of my Ireland trip. It was actually Alainn Castle right here. That was the very first colorway I decided to dye. There we go. Make my hand work. That was the very first colorway I decided to dye off of my photos. And from there, I decided to come up with an Irish name because Ireland what was truly inspired me to start dyeing and really dig in. So I kind of just started finding different words in Irish and kind of went from there, came across beautiful, and I was like, yep, that's it. So yep, it is pronounced all in, like you're all into yarn.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
How many different bases do you have for your yarns, and how do you choose them? What makes you decide to choose them to dye?
Good question. So I actually have, let's see, I have a total of 17 fingering weight yarns. And then I'm up to 2 sport weight bases, two lace weight. So I just try to choose a variety of different ones. So yeah, 2 lace, 17 fingering, 2 sport, 2 or 3 DK weight now, and I believe 1 or 2 worsted weight is what I'm up to. So quite a few. I try to choose different bases based upon kind of, what I'm feeling like. There are certain colors I will only put on certain bases because I want those particular parts of the bases to shine. So there's only certain colorways that are on my sparkle yarn because I want the sparkle to actually enhance the color, like my celestial one. Or ones like this. This is when the stars come out to play. I want you to actually feel the stars in that colorway. Things like that. Other ones, like my yak silk, those ones take jewel tones, fantastic, but they start really, really dark. So I have to be really kind of, I have to really think about which colors are going to go on that base. And then other ones too, I've got some Polworth, I've got some BFL. I wanted different fiber quantities, not just merino. So that way, maybe if you don't like merino, because merino sometimes pills. It's a fantastically soft yarn, but you know what? When you get to 100% merino, it does like to pill. And so BFL seems to pill a little bit less, which makes it perfect, great for sweaters. Polworth is also really great for that as well. I like different qualities like silk, 100% silk. I love the sheen and the feel of it. And it just is fantastic for even keeping you cool. So I try to do different things like that. And then of course too, I like a few different luxury bases, like my baby camel and silk. I just need something really good, squishy, soft. And then I've tried to include a few things of alpaca bases because I've had a couple of customers that have been allergic to wool, but they can use alpaca. So I'm trying to carry a little bit of that as well. So hopefully that answers your question. Does anyone else have other questions?
On your website, do you have filters at all for, to say you want a yak yarn or you want a mini set or how? I think I tried to navigate your website and had problems.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not finding the right way to.
Yep. So there is, if you click on shop all yarns, so if you go to my shop and then see all yarns that way, there's a search bar. If you're on your phone, the search bar defaults to the bottom. I've tried to fix it, but it does, for whatever reason, on a mobile device, it defaults to the bottom. So with that, you can put in search words like yak or silk. Otherwise, if you're just looking from the homepage, you can browse by color or you can browse by destination. That was a fun, different way to set it up. And then also from the drop-down menu, there's kits or mini skeins. The mini skeins would be listed under kits.
Okay, I don't. Oh, okay. I couldn't get the drop-down menu under yarns.
Okay.
Active, but it seems to be now. So
I just did some updates, so maybe that might have helped it out.
okay. So how do you select shop by color?
So if you're right on the home page, which is the very first page that you're going to land on, it will have an option that says shop by color going off to one side and then shop by destination going off to the other.
It doesn't seem to, those don't seem to be active.
Let me see if I can help you out here. 1 second. we'll do a screenshot for you. All right, so right here is the homepage of my website.
Mhm.
And then if you look, get rid of the glare. There you go, right there in that green box. It says shop by color or
Yeah.
shop by destination. Ah,
I'm with
Click on that.
Kathy. They aren't active right now.
Not active.
They aren't working. That's new. All right, I will have to do some work on the back end of that. That is definitely new. They were working earlier today, so I will fix that. Or they were working a few days ago for sure.
Okay,
So
thank
I
you.
will have to look into that. But you can come, if you can get the drop, even if you just click on it once, it'll take you to all of the yarns. And then, like I said, on a mobile device, that search bar is going to default down here to the bottom. So down at with the search bar, then you can type in yak or mini skein, whatever works best that you're looking for.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you happen to have any other issues, definitely send me an email and I will figure it out for you. Or we'll do things manually and I can just send you an invoice for whatever you like. So I will have to check out as to why that was not working. Does anyone else have any other questions? Or can I troubleshoot anything else for you?
I'd written down from last week. In the process of making a new colorway, I know you're inspired by the photos, but then give us kind of an idea of how you do that. You know, how many tries on average does it take you to get from this is what I want, but this is what comes out of the dye pot?
Well, I've got one right here for you as an example. So this is called my Dance of the Blossoms colorway. And I originally started this one on an alpaca alpaca silk base, I believe is what I first tried this one on. And the colors came out very, very muted. And I was like, nope, that's not gonna work. You couldn't see the fun speckles in this one at all. They just kind of started to bleed together. And then I was like, okay, yep, it needs to be on sparkle base. First time into the pot for the sparkle base, boom, yep, that's exactly it. Sometimes I get really lucky, and sometimes it's first try. I just am able to envision the photo and I pull out what particular shades need to go in there. Most of the time, yeah, I'd say about 75% of the time I'm actually right first try. The other 25, sometimes it just needs to switch bases, but the colors are correct. So sometimes, like in the case of the Dance of the Blossoms, the base was just, it was just with the alpaca, made it too pale. And so sometimes that's an issue, you know, superwash versus non-superwash. But I would say probably definitely by second try, I almost always have the colorway where I want it. And so when I do a tester batch, I usually do 1 to 2 skeins in a tester batch. And if I like it, the recipe gets written down. I write it down as I am working on it, but then it gets written down fully in ink and transferred over to the recipe book. And then from there it becomes, yep, that's gonna be what it is. And that is why certain colors are only on certain bases, because I do keep the base property in mind. You know, certain ones I only want on silk for that sheen of the silk. Other ones I do want on the alpaca to be a little bit softer. So hopefully that answers your question. Looks like I got a couple more minutes left if anyone has one more question.
So you can tell by your yarns that you've traveled to Ireland and Japan and then throughout the US. Where else have you traveled?
That's been it so far because I bought a house.
Yeah.
And my budget went to, house maintenance and, paying a mortgage and all of that kind of stuff. And then, so we bought our house in 2017. I was going to go to Scotland, but had kind of a family emergency come up for that one. So that trip got canceled. And then what happened in 2019? 2019, I was trying to do festivals. And then 2020 happened, and we all know how 2020 went. So I am supposed to go on an Italian cruise last year. So there was going to be a whole bunch of Italy inspired colorways, but then that got canceled due to COVID. So it is still canceled for this year, but we are going to try to do it to next year. And then I also am going to try to do a cruise to Alaska. So those are the top ones that are kind of up on the list. And then my mom and I are going to try to redo the Scotland trip. So those
Good.
ones are there. They'll be coming soon.
Do you do colorways based on just photographs of places you haven't been? Just photographs, right?
I do try to use my own photos for everything that I've been to. For copyright reasons, especially, I try to use my own photos. There are a couple that I've gotten some photos from friends, and I give them full credit in their photo description as to their photos. I also do custom work too. So if you have a dream colorway, you can send me a photo of your own travel and I will work with you and we can create a custom yarn just for you. But I do try to stick with my own photos versus ones that you're going to find on the internet. Just again, for copyright reasons, but also too, so I can tell the story of the yarn. If I've been there, I can tell you the story about it. I can tell you about each individual location. And to me, that makes the yarn much more special than, hey, I found a picture of New York City on the internet. That's just my own personal take.
And tonight, once we actually do have to end on time because I forgot to switch the URL for the next vendor. So we need this platform.
All right, that is just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Again, I'm Stephanie with Alainn Yarns. I hope you enjoyed this little bit and hope to see you at a festival soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So Elizabeth, do we need to sign out and sign in again or
Yep.
just stay?
Well, I'm about to sign you out so I can sign into the other meeting.